All right, mate, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. First off, I have to apologise for the length of time that's passed since my last video. I wasn't intending it to be this long, but caught a little bit off guard late last year with the arrival of a small baby human, which has been fantastic. That came 1 month early, the little lad. So that's been keeping Alex and I busy. And then also, you may have seen recently the news, we've managed to get #United promoted, which has been fantastic. Even though we haven't played a league game since December, we've still found a way of going up. No one can stop the #train. Anyway, today though, it's about a different kind of train. It's about an English train with the captain or the conductor, the fat controller. He's not fat, he's quite slim. Gareth Southgate. He's got a big job on his hands. He's about to pick his 26-man squad for the Euros. Yes, 26 man, not 23 man. Normally it's 23, 26 players to choose from, which is more than anyone needs for a tournament. And it's actually given Gareth an opportunity to not cause any controversy. Because let's be honest, there's one big potential omission from Gareth's squad everyone's talking about, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold. We're going to find out today whether he's in my squad, because today I'm picking my 26-man England squad. And Gareth really has been given the perfect excuse not to piss off the whole of Liverpool and just pick Trent. You'd think with those extra 3 spots he's going to make it. Is he? Surely he is. Let's talk about it. I'm going to build my squad throughout this video, but we can start off just by throwing a load of names that we know are just shoo-ins to be included. Just save ourselves some time. Goalkeepers. For me, at least, Henderson and Pope have got to be in. Defensively, Luke Shaw's going to have to be in there. What a turnaround he's had in the last year or so, but he's got to be in there. Manchester United's Player of the Year. Maguire and Stones, likewise, nailed on to be in there and start at centre-back for me. Right-back is a little bit more contentious. We've just got so many good options at right-back, England, that it needs its own sort of part of the video, the right-back conundrum, which we'll get to. In midfield, Declan Rice 100% will be included. If you didn't believe about Declan Rice already, surely now you're a convert. It's not West Ham bias, it's just straight footballing sense. Declan Rice is decent. I think Phil Foden has made himself undroppable now. Maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, there was some competition between him and some of the other creative midfielders, which we've got a lot of now, which is great. But Phil Foden has been so good this year. He has to go, hopefully start as well. And of course, Harry Kane, captain, fantastic, has to be there. Will he be playing for a different team after the Euros? Sounds like he might be. Will he put some extra money on his transfer value by scoring a load of goals at the Euros? I hope he does. Will he come to West Ham? Probably not. So these guys are all going to be in the squad. We don't need to talk about them that much. It's a waste of time. The question is, who's going to take up the remaining spots? Let's start off with the third goalkeeper. For me, it's between two. We're looking at Pickford and we're looking at Johnston. I've seen a lot of people putting Johnston in their squad. And I know Pickford, he divides opinions. Some people don't rate him. But for me, his World Cup experience is going to be huge. He won't start for me. In fact, of these 3, Pickford would be my third choice. But I take him. I take him just in case. I take him for the experience. Sorry, Johnston, but Pickford's my third keeper. I honestly don't know who I'd start without Henderson and Pope. I feel like Pope deserves it more, but Henderson's probably more suited to our system. To be fair, Pickford's the most suited to our system with his distribution ability, but lets himself down as a goalkeeper, so I'm probably thinking Henderson. Anyway, left back. Who's going with Luke Shaw? Got to be Ben Chilwell. 2 really good left back options. Because we've got 26 men to take in this squad, there is room to take more. Like normally I'd take 2 left backs, 2 right backs, 4 centre backs. More or less, that's the pattern I'd follow for a 23-man squad, but you've got room for extras. Will we take a third left back? We'll have to revisit that. Into centre-back, who are we taking along with Maguire and Stones? We need at least 2 more. Mings, Keane, Cody, some of the more experienced names. But I'm also looking at this as maybe an opportunity to take some inexperienced, in some cases uncapped centre-backs. I'm looking at Tomori, he's been doing great at AC Milan. I know he's got a cap already. I'm looking at Ben Godfrey, who I'm a big fan of. I'm thinking about Konsa from Aston Villa. Could we take one of them? I'm going to go with 1 experienced centre-back and 1 less experienced, because the reality is it's going to be Maguire and Stones. If we go 3 centre-backs, I've got another player I can bring in there. If a centre-back gets injured, we call in one of the experienced subs, and then we take a younger one to get more experience for the future. And I'm leaning towards Tyrone Mings as my more experienced, quite a few caps now for England, and Ben Godfrey. Now, I know some people won't have Godfrey on their list, but Everton fans know exactly what I'm talking about. This guy could go to the very top. I know Gareth Southgate likes Cody. I expect him to take Cody. He might take Keane. He might even take Dyer. Dyer's not in the conversation for me. Sorry, Eric. I just think he's an accident waiting to happen. I think he's a penalty on toast. So I'm thinking Maguire, Stones, Mings, Godfrey. As for right back, why has Trent been overlooked recently? First of all, I have to say, Trent's form for Liverpool since being not picked for England has been exceptional. If that's what Gareth was hoping for, a reaction, he got one. There's no doubt in Trent's ability going forward, putting crosses in, he's the best we have. But the belief is that he lacks a little bit defensively. You know, if you're looking for the best defensive right back in the country, he still hasn't got a cap, and that's Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And we're at risk of losing him to another nation. But I don't anticipate Southgate's going to give him a first ever call-up for the Euros. Maybe he will, but I don't think he will. You've got to take Kyle Walker, guys. Kyle Walker has to go. Because of his experience, because of what he's done with Man City, and also because if you go 3 centre-backs, he could be that third centre-back, just like we used him in Russia at 2018 World Cup. So Kyle Walker goes for me, and I'm taking Trent. If it was a 23-man squad, I'd still take Trent. You've got to put him in there. The only plausible explanation for why Gareth wouldn't want Trent there is if he feels he doesn't work in the system Gareth wants to play. But if we want the option to go wing-backs, that's probably Trent's best position. I know he doesn't play it for Liverpool, but taking that defensive onus away from him by giving him that extra centre-back, it could be what Trent needs. You've got to take Trent. I'm also considering taking Reece James as well as a third right-back option, but I'm going to come back to that. Going into midfield, we've got Declan Rice. We need more in the sort of defensive centre midfield area because Jordan Henderson's a concern. Jordan Henderson would 100% be there if he was fit, but he hasn't played and he's not going to play another game for Liverpool this season. That's a massive concern for me. Yes, he's a huge part of the changing room. Will that mean he gets included, regardless of his fitness, to have him there as a vice captain next to Harry Kane? Maybe, but you've got to then take another player that can play. I don't take Henderson personally unless he can contribute significantly, unless he can play and he's going to be ready. That's something I don't know the answer to, but assuming he is going to be okay, I take him. But I also need to take Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice have played together in there. I prefer, certainly against the weaker nations or the perceived weaker nations, I want us just to go one CDM, and that would be Declan Rice for me. But if injuries, happen, maybe we'll have to play them both together if we lose some players further forward. Or if something happens to Rice, Phillips can jump in. Ahead of Rice and Phillips, I assume Mason Mount's going to go. Gareth Southgate loves him. Got a bit of stick for that, so did Frank Lampard back in the day. But I think more people, including myself, have come round to the Mason Mount effect. You know, he's decent. He's double decent. He definitely goes and he might start. I think he actually will start, actually, in our first game. So Mason Mount goes. I've got to take Jude Bellingham. In fact, I think I would start Jude Bellingham. I think I would go Rice, Mount, Bellingham in the middle for the first game. I love this guy. He's got to go. I think he will go. Certainly now we have 26 men. I hope it's not just for experience. I want him to get game time. And like I say, I would start him. Moving forward, we know we've got Harry Kane, but we need a backup striker. We've got to take Calvert-Lewin. He deserves the spot. He's the most similar to Kane. Maybe he doesn't have the creativity that Kane has, but he can play that sort of, focal point of the attack, talisman role. So Calvert-Lewin has to go. Out wide on the right, Sterling, Sancho. Get them both in, no questions asked. We need Sterling, we need Sancho. We don't see as much of him in this country, but anyone that's watched Dortmund play, particularly recently, because he's recaptured his best form, knows Sancho has to be there. Probably not to start the first game, but to be involved. Out on the left, I want Rashford. Definitely want Rashford. He can also be my third striker if anything happens to Kane, Calvert-Lewin, or we want to change system. Now, I'll be honest, Jack Grealish would have been my first name in this squad based on his earlier England performances, captured our imagination, the new Gazza, we all love him. I'm really worried with the lack of football he's played, but I have to take him anyway. I'll be amazed if anyone wasn't taking him. I'm hoping, because he's just started to play for Villa again now, he's going to become good and be ready. He's got a few practice games and whatnot to warm up. This may prove unpopular. I hope it doesn't. I'm taking Jesse Lingard over James Maddison. Some people probably won't take Lingard or Maddison because we've got a lot of players in these attacking areas now. But Lingard deserves it, guys. He has earned his way back in. Not just his West Ham form, but the form he played in those England games he got called up for when Grealish and Maddison were out. And he's got a bit of experience. He's not as young as everyone seems to always suggest he is. He is ready, and he's, I think, raring to go for another England campaign. Get him in there. Right, I think I've got 2 spots left. Starting off, I'm going to throw Reece James back in there. I think he has to go. I'm going to call him in as a third right back, but equally, Walker could be a third centre back. Who knows? It's probably too early for this, but there's been a lot of talk of both Trent and or James trying out as a centre mid. They've both played there a little bit in the past. James has played there for Wigan. Trent has been rumoured to have the sort of skill set that could work there. I don't think we try it this tournament, but we are light in centre mid, so it wouldn't be the worst thing to look at. I think that's probably one for the future if we ever do that at all. But I take the 3 right backs. It probably means I don't take a third left back. I've got 1 spot left, guys, and I'm torn. It's all dependent on whether Jordan Henderson's fit. If Jordan Henderson is fit, I'm worrying less about including James Ward-Prowse. If Henderson's not fit, it's a straight swap. I put Ward-Prowse in. But assuming Henderson's fit, I've got 1 spot left, and it's between Ward-Prowse, Saka, Greenwood, and Danny Ings. Now, I don't think I need Danny Ings. I've got Kane, I've got Calvert-Lewin, and I've got Rashford who can play up front. In fact, you could even do a Sterling up front type thing Man City have done. So I'm not sure we need Ings. Saka and Greenwood. I like Greenwood. I think he could be a massive part of England's future. But there's so many attacking players that can play out wide ahead of him for me in this squad. Sterling, Sancho, Rashford, Grealish, Lingard, Foden. Obviously, I think Foden could be played in the middle as well. So could Grealish. Even Mount could play out wide if he needs to. I just don't think we need Greenwood. We'd be taking him for experience, but he could be taking someone else's spot. Saka, on the other hand, whilst he can play out wide, he can also play left back. And Luke Shaw can also be a third centre back, as he's done a few times as well. So there's options there if I take Saka. But I'm leaning towards Ward-Prowse and Henderson. That way you get Henderson for the changing room, team, leadership, and hopefully to play. If he breaks down or for some reason he can't contribute, you've got Ward-Prowse as that extra centre mid, because we are light in centre mid. Whoa, hang on. A few hours have passed since I finished filming. I've re-edited this bit into the video because some football games have happened tonight as I've re-editing this, which is Wednesday night, and I've got to make a change. Ward-Prowse, you're out. Joe Willock, you're in. Big call, I know, but 5 goals in 5 games for the Arsenal man on loan at Newcastle. We've got to pay attention. The 26-man squad allows Gareth to try some wildcards. It's the Willock wildcard. Get behind it. Believe it. It won't happen, but let's just imagine that it could. Maybe it should. Should it? That's my 26. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure I've annoyed some people. I'm sure I've left out some big names in there. I mean, it's hard. It's very hard. Even with 26 spots, it's difficult. I don't necessarily think that's what Gareth's 26 are going to be. That's not a prediction. This is a squad that I would take if I was Gaffer, which, let's face it, will happen eventually. But do let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd make any changes. I think that squad's got, cover for certain injuries in certain positions. Obviously, there's crucial players we can't afford to lose. We need Harry Kane. I think we need Declan Rice. I think he's become crucial, to be honest, especially without Henderson. I think we need Maguire. I really do think we need Maguire. I think he's really important. I'd probably say they're the 3 most important in this team, Maguire, Rice and Kane. But I cannot wait to see what Phil Foden can do. Really excited to see Grealish, hopefully, as well. And Jude Bellingham could have a breakout tournament here. I really think, if you don't already believe in what Jude Bellingham can do, you haven't seen what he's done for Dortmund and in the Champions League as well, then I think the Euros might convince you. I hope he gets game time. I really do. I will be doing a Euros prediction video soon, predicting who's going to win it and what's going to happen, all that stuff. I'll also be doing a reacting to my Premier League predictions and all the normal video content you expect. And I promise to you guys, we're going to get the videos back and going more regularly again. I've settled in now. The baby's comfortable. Me and Alex sort of know what we're doing now. So yeah, plenty more content coming soon. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Until next time, don't go changing.